The film begins showing the mountains on the border of Mongolia, where incredible things have been found throughout history. Among these things are enormous fossils of unknown animals, as well as millennial corpses with flesh still preserved. Then the story moves to 1979, when a scientist, Professor Gh0stly Tr, forms a special group to explore the Kunlun Mountains. He wants to know more about these mysterious findings. Soon we meet Hu-Bayi, who is one of several soldiers working hard on this excavation. Their work is very demanding, as we can see by the fact that they frequently collapse on the ground from exhaustion. Fortunately, there's the professor's daughter, Yang Ping, a doctor who takes care of those in need. According to what Hu-Bayi tells us, he has a secret crush on Ping and feels like he's known her for a long time. After working hard for several days, the team finds an enormous skull that leaves them astonished. Shortly after, the cave trembles and explodes, devastating the entire camp. The armed soldiers, led by Han Juyang, remain on alert outside the cave, expecting an attack. But only Professor Yang and some surviving workers come out. The explosion opened a passage in the cave, and Han wants to know if anyone will explore it with the professor. Since it's very dangerous, almost no soldier volunteers. But Ping, being brave, immediately volunteers to help her father on this mission. Hu-Bayi is inspired by her and also offers to go, along with his best friend, Kang Sun. Thus, a group of soldiers is formed for this mission. So the team continues on their mission, crossing through the devastated cave. Soon they encounter an immense precipice, which they decide to descend. They arrive at a frozen place with a passage that leads them to an underground darkness. Down there, they come across a never-before-explored grotto full of strange fossils. Hey, the movie I'm going to summarize is called Chronicles of the Ghostly Tribe. It's a very good adventure and suspense film. I recommend paying close attention to understand it, or you'll end up not understanding anything. Go ahead and leave a like, grab some popcorn, sit in a comfortable place, and follow me in this summary. After walking a bit, they find an exit that leads them to the other side of the mountain. Professor Yang reveals to Hu-Bayi that, according to legends, there exists a portal to an ancient kingdom in this area belonging to a very secretive government. The conversation is suddenly interrupted when the other soldiers find something surprising, an enormous footprint in the snow. Then, the group begins to follow these footprints, unaware that a gigantic beast is nearby. Along the way, they see various creatures resembling butterflies flying around them. When they observe more carefully, they notice they're not butterflies, but bats with an unusual appearance. Unaware of the danger they represent, a soldier catches one with his bare hands, provoking an unexpected result. He catches fire with a blue flame, dying instantly. Two soldiers go to help him but end up suffering the same fate. Soon after, hundreds of these bats surround the group, forcing them to shoot. The group's agitation frightens the enormous monster that's nearby, making it move away. However, its sudden movement causes a snow avalanche, creating another difficulty for them. Hoping to save themselves, the soldiers run away, but many of them die. At a certain point, they have to stop because there's a precipice in front of them. If they run, the beast catches them, and if they stay, the beast eats them. With no alternative, the soldiers tie themselves with ropes and jump. During the fall, a rope that holds Hu-Bayi and Ping gets tangled in a piece of ice, leaving them suspended. Shortly after, the rope breaks, making them fall into the darkness below. In the next scene, Hu-Bayi comes to his senses and finds himself in Ping's arms. He doesn't understand how he managed to survive such a high fall. This event reduces the number of survivors to 4: Hu-Bayi, Ping, Professor Yang, and Kang Sun. These survivors then gather what supplies they can before continuing their excavation. Finally, they find a vast cave with an enormous tower in its middle. The professor identifies this place as the Sacred Palace of Kunlun. It's said that the tower has 9 floors where evil beings were imprisoned. Professor Yang bends down and lights a candle. The fire soon generates a flame that attracts a crowd of bats surrounding the tower. Then he sends Hu-Bayi and Ping to the tower's entrance, disobeying Kang Sun's warning. When the pair enters holding hands, a crack appears at the top, releasing an intense light. Shortly after, the cave begins to fill with various spirits. Thinking they've opened the gates of hell, Kang Sun immediately extinguishes the candle, interrupting the entire process. Unfortunately, as a result, the cave begins to collapse and the bats return to attack them. Sensing the imminent danger, Kang Sun offers to distract the bats, allowing the surviving members of the group to escape. The three somehow manage to find an exit, but it's on a high ledge behind a waterfall. While thinking about their next step, the bats catch up to them and begin their attack. Hu-Bayi tries to scare them away with fire, but a bat hits him from behind. Seeing the emerging flame, Ping quickly pushes him into the water before jumping in with her father. Hu-Bayi reaches her underwater, but an enormous marine beast separates them and drags her away. Somehow he manages to escape and returns to the base. There he tends to his wounds, while Han tells him that he's the only survivor. The commander also says they found the bodies of all their soldiers, except for Ping and her father. Devastated by the death of those he loved, Hu-Bayi decides to leave everything and takes a train home without telling anyone. At the station, he meets a man who would be his new boss, Mr. Wang, who hires him as a librarian. He starts working there and has a quiet life. One day, during lunch at a local bar, Hu-Bayi accidentally reunites with his childhood friend, Kai Xuan, who is an artist. The next day at work, he sees a book by Professor Yang. Looking at it, he finds various subjects about the same evil tower, which makes him understand that the professor knew everything from the beginning. He realizes that only he and Ping had the ability to activate the evil tower. After putting together the missing clues, it clarifies the reason why Professor Yang had sent them before. At the same time, Commander Han and his group find a coffin with a living woman who looks like Ping. They name her Shirley. This woman has an enigmatic and untamable power, so the soldiers need to isolate her in a room under close watch. 3 years later, Han's group captures Professor Yang and takes him to their headquarters. At the same time, in western China, the oil city is attacked by gigantic and mysterious beasts, causing widespread chaos. Professor Yang, upon learning this, assumes that the tower's activation created portals in space and time, enabling demonic monsters to invade Earth. To obtain more information, the professor escapes from the military quarters. The appearance of these demons seems to influence Hu-Bayi as well, as the scar on his back becomes uncomfortable. While reading in the library, he feels heat on his back and sees that it's catching fire with blue flames. He discovers he has supernatural powers and can make objects and his friend levitate. Soon after, Mr. Wang arrives and isn't startled by the chaos that's happening. He quickly calms the situation and makes everything return to normal. When Hu-Bayi asks what's happening, Mr. Wang says his blood is infected by demonic force because of the bat attack. He says that Hu-Bayi has enormous power, but if he uses it, he could go to hell. Hu-Bayi wants to know how he knows this, and he uses his psychic powers to transform the library into an ancient tomb. He reveals himself as the guardian of Prince Yi of the Su-Lin nation. He continues saying that Prince Yi was Hu-Bayi's predecessor and was humanity's leader in the war against the demons that dominated Earth. Prince Yi sacrificed his body to close the tower, where he imprisoned most of the demons. They began marrying humans to camouflage themselves, thus making it increasingly difficult to differentiate. This new mixture was known as the Ghost Tribe. These demons are after Hu-Bayi because he's the only one who can open the tower. Back at the military base, and to everyone's surprise, Shirley says she wants to see her father as she has recovered her memories. Han can't find the professor even after putting 20 men on his trail, so he goes after Hu-Bayi and finds him in the library. Hu-Bayi doesn't want to return to the army, but changes his mind when he learns about the woman who looks like Ping. So Hu-Bayi follows the commander, and Kai Xuan goes along too. Han takes them to northern China, where they meet the team that will search for the professor. The team has a man called Cheng Dong, a woman, Wei Wei, Shirley, and more soldiers. Hu-Bayi becomes emotional upon seeing Shirley and calls her Ping, but she says her name is Shirley. The team arms themselves and stocks up before setting out on the mission. They cross the desert on camels. Along the way, a sandstorm attacks them, and they have to flee. Kai Xuan and 3 others get separated from the rest of the group. After a long journey without pause, Hu-Bayi's team reaches the remains of Oil City, but Kai Xuan's team is still lost in the desert. They are surprised by an attack from evil beings, and Kai Shuan's team separates further to try to escape. Even so, the monsters take the lives of 2 of them, and only Kai Shuan and 1 more man manage to reach Oil City, where they join the main team. When they learn about the fight with the monsters, Hu-Bayi proposes leaving to avoid being annihilated, as occurred before in the cave. However, Chung and Shirley choose to stay and complete their mission. Their debate is suddenly interrupted by the sounds of approaching monsters. So they grab weapons and prepare for combat. They quickly kill the first beast and go after the second. But when they look back, the first one has already disappeared. During the confrontation, Shirley flees to an abandoned school, and Hu-Bayi goes after her. Upon arriving there, he sees several corpses suspended from the ceiling. Soon after, he finds a passage that leads him to the prince's tomb. Shortly after, he's surprised by a creature that knocks him unconscious. The creature prepares to kill him, but Shirley interferes, making it retreat. In a surprising moment, she uses her powers to place Hu-Bayi's body inside the sarcophagus. Meanwhile, more monstrous demons appear at the location, so the group takes refuge in the higher floors of the building and fights using silver bullets and rockets. It becomes clear that the demons have incredible strength, making bullets useless against them. On the other hand, Wei disguises herself as one of the dolls and tries to stay still to avoid being noticed. When the creature is distracted, she runs to Kai Shuan and the 2 hide inside a bus. However, the creature finds them and begins to attack the vehicle. When Hu-Bayi regains consciousness, he screams for help. He is surprised to see that his arm wound heals quickly. Suddenly, he is taken to the same cave where the demon tower is located. There, he sees a monster throw Ping's body into a bonfire that is soon taken over by the evil queen. After the monster leaves, Hu-Bayi approaches her, asking her to return Ping. But the queen doesn't want to let go of Ping's body, as it holds the key to opening the tower. She suggests that he go with her to the tower and open the desired portal. Hu-Bayi thinks for a moment, but politely refuses. He asks to be sent back to Oil City, saying he'll find another way. The evil queen finds it amusing, but decides to give him a chance, sending him back. Meanwhile, Shirley takes command of all the monsters and orders them to attack the group members. As soon as he returns, Hu-Bayi sees the monster attacking the bus where Kai Shuan and Wei are and quickly takes it down with a rocket. Seeing this, the other monsters approach him, but Shirley protects him, knowing he's the only one who can open the tower's door. She embraces him and guarantees his protection. However, Hu-Bayi, knowing that Ping won't return anymore, takes a gun and shoots her 3 times. This causes all the monsters to disappear and the evil tower to collapse. Before dying, she confesses that he was the only one who could kill her. Then she surprisingly kisses him before falling to the ground. Right after, Shirley transforms into Ping, who shows her joy at seeing him one more time. But Hu-Bayi still doesn't want to lose her. He takes her and carries her to the prince's sarcophagus, hoping this might save her. He lies down beside her and touches his forehead to hers, causing a series of childhood memories to surface. It's revealed that Ping had a supernatural gift, the power to resurrect the dead. The reason why Hu-Bayi didn't die when falling into the hole at the beginning was because she resurrected him. Ping's mother didn't want her to use her special powers because it would shorten her life. Her mother died in a blue flame, showing that she came from a lineage of demons who looked like humans, called the Ghost Tribe. This tribe dies when they reach middle age. That's why the professor became obsessed with this tribe, because he wanted to find an antidote for his daughter. He thought that if he opened the portal, it would break the curse. Ping declares her eternal love for Hu-Bayi and makes him a request that he search for her father. After this, she dies, leaving Hu-Bayi devastated. He mourns for a while, but then recovers and decides to fulfill her request. The film ends with Hu-Bayi continuing the mission with the other group members. So that's it. Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and activate the bell. So until the next recap,